Damus is an application that allows you to access Nostr, a decentralized and censorship-resistant social protocol that plays quite nicely with Bitcoin and the Lightning Network for tips and payments. Today we'll take a look at how to use, set up, and interact with Damus and Nostr. I am Ben with the BTC Sessions. This is your daily session.
HODL the Bitcoin.
Before we dive in, quick shout out to sponsors of the show, CoinKite.com, the website with the best hardware in the game. I love my Coldcard Mark IV for securing my stack. It is absolutely awesome. A ton of incredible features for securing your Bitcoin. On top of this, they've got other great things like the Tapsigner, the block clock, the Sats card, all kinds of great stuff here. And if you're super interested, the Coldcard Q1 should be dropping soon. Either way, be sure to check them out, CoinKite.com. You can use code BTC Sessions for 5% off everything in the store. Up next, we've got Nunchuk Wallet. This is such a fantastic resource when you're looking to be able to set up an assisted multi-sig plan to secure your Bitcoin, as well as inheritance planning. And the kicker, it's non-KYC. You don't have to give up any private information. You can sign up with nothing more than an email address. It's easy to use. I've done a full tutorial on it. It uses great hardware like the Tapsigner and the Coldcard, and it's an absolute dream. And you can get that peace of mind making sure that your next of kin receive the sats that you want to give to them if anything should happen to you. So check them out, nunchuk.io. Up next, we've got Start9, your sovereign computing solution. I've done a full tutorial on how to use this as your setup, your Bitcoin stack, where you can run Bitcoin Core, run a Lightning node, use things like mempool.space and join market, all kinds of great stuff. But it goes beyond that. You can take back control of your digital life. You can run things like password managers. You can host your files and your photos, all of that. You can also run a Noster relay, which we'll get into what that is in a moment, but be sure to check them out. Start9.com. You can check out the Embassy One, or if you're looking for something really beefy to host your life on, you can get the Embassy Pro. If you're buying Bitcoin and you have a few priorities, which would be trading peer-to-peer, getting instant self-custody, and not having to give up KYC, aka not having to give up any identification in order to obtain your Bitcoin, then HodlHodl is the place for you. You can sign up with nothing more than an email address and be trading peer-to-peer in minutes using their platform. It is excellent. It is streamlined. It is so simple. Be sure to check them out. Again, HodlHodl.com. There's a link down below where you can sign up and try it out today. And finally, the Bitcoin 2023 conference is the largest Bitcoin event on the planet. It is happening in Miami Beach, Florida, May 18th through 20th, 2023. There's 150 plus speakers, 15,000 attendees, 2,000 plus companies, and this will be my fourth time attending. If you need tickets, head to b.tc/conference and you can use code BTC Sessions for 10% off. We'll see you there. So we're going to start by just kind of talking about what Nostr itself is and how Damus fits in with that. So Nostr, as I said, is a decentralized, censorship-resistant social protocol layer to be able to interact with your peers. And so the way it's set up, there's kind of three things you need to know about. There are key pairs, there are clients, and there are relays. Now, which and what are all of those things? So key pairs are effectively kind of your public identity and the credentials to be able to use that public identity. So you have what's known as a private key and a public key. Your public key is something that you would share with individuals so that they can link up to you, so they can follow you, send you messages, all of that stuff. Your private key is the key that basically allows you to post and interact with others and verify that it is you that is doing so. Now, with a private key, it's important that you don't give this information away to anybody, because that key, regardless of who's in possession of it, unlock the same thing, which is your profile. your interactions, what you post. And so somebody with that key could post on your behalf. You don't want that happening, so you want to keep it safe. So you've got private key to post, and your credentials basically are held therein, and your public key, which is how people identify and connect with you. Up next, we have clients. Clients are how you actually view and interact with the network. Damus is a client, meaning you can use Damus with your public and private key in order to see people's posts, in order to follow people, in order to post things yourself. Now, Damus isn't the only client that you can use Nostr with. In fact, you can use your keys and migrate to any client you want. Yes, that's right. It's kind of like if you're on Twitter and your Twitter profile and all of the connections you made there moved around with you, no matter what social media platform you went to. So imagine you had a bunch of people that you follow and link with and send messages with on Twitter, and then you went over to Instagram, and it was all the exact same connections. You lose nobody. You don't have to tell people that you're moving over to something else. You go to TikTok, it's the same thing. The type of content and the way it's displayed might look different, but all of your connections, all of the people that you care about remain the same regardless of the client that you migrate to. So it's kind of just like the window through which you look at the Nostr network. Now, finally, there are relays. Obviously, if there's data being sent and viewed on the internet, it has to be stored somewhere. And that's where relays come in. Anyone can host a relay, and a relay basically stores the information of those connected to it. So every time you make a post, that string of digits, that hello world that you send out, that note that you send gets hosted on a relay. And realistically, it probably gets hosted on multiple relays. And so this is what makes Nostr censorship resistant, because if one relay decides not to host your data, there's a plethora of other relays that you probably have connected to which are hosting your data. And beyond that, you can host your own data on your own relay if you see fit. You can also host the data of others if you want to prevent them from being censored. So that is what makes this a decentralized and censorship resistant platform. So we're going to be diving into how to use this client, Damus, to set up your keys so that you can interact with the network that is Nostr. And we'll also take a look at some of the relay stuff in a bit. But that's pretty much all you need to know. Keys, clients, relays. 3 parts to this. Let's dive into setting up Damus. So at the time of recording this video, Damus is only available on iOS. So if you have an iPhone or an iPad, you should be just fine. Hopefully, it will be available on Android soon. I am on an Android phone, so you're going to be seeing me on an iPad today. But nonetheless, it should work just fine. If you're curious about other types of clients, I will link to my other Nostr video down below, and that could give you some other options if you're on Android or you just want to take a look at different types of clients and different ways to interact with the network. But nonetheless, let's dive into Damus on my iPad. Okay, so here we are on my iPad. I've downloaded Damus. I've also downloaded 2 other applications that would be good to have to get the most out of your Nostr experience. One of them is Wallet of Satoshi. This is a Bitcoin Lightning wallet, and we'll dive into that momentarily. I've also linked to a tutorial video down below so you can get more in depth regarding that wallet if you want to. I've also downloaded Orbot, and that's going to be kind of in our bonus advanced section if you want to link up Damus to your own relay in a couple of different options. And the other one, which I'll pull up in a little bit, is one called Tailscale. And Orbot and Tailscale are both things that you might use if you're running your own relay. But that's besides the point. The 2 main things, Damus, Wallet of Satoshi, you'll be all set. Let's get ourselves set up with Damus. You first open up the application, you're going to see options to create an account or log in. Now, if you already had public and private keys for Nostr, that's where you could paste in your private key and be able to reconnect with all of the previous connections that you've made. Or if you get a new device later on, you can copy over your private key and paste it into another download of Damus and have everything return as it was before. But we're going to be doing a new account. So we're going to hit create new account. This gives us just a kind of run-of-the-mill user terms of service, all that kind of stuff. We're just going to hit accept. All right, so we're now going to create an account username. This can really be anything. So I'm just going to call myself Steve Rogers, and my display name will just be Cap. And then about, we'll just say, I'm saving the world. Okay. And so you can see already it's showing my account ID or my NPub, but we'll investigate that further in a moment. I'm just going to hit create right now. Okay, so it says, hey, welcome Cap. Before we get started, you'll need to save your account info. Otherwise, you won't be able to log in the future or even uninstall Damus. Your public key, this is your account ID. You can give it to your friends so they can follow you. Click to copy. Your private key, this is your secret account key. You need this to access your account. Don't share this with anyone. Save it in a password manager and keep it safe. Now, obviously this is displayed on the screen. And so technically speaking, anybody that sees this video afterwards will be able to utilize this account if they take the time to jot down this private key and input it. You can go ahead and do that if you feel like taking the time. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to be abandoning this account afterwards. It's just for demo purposes, but it is sensitive. And so you will probably, if you go to this account afterwards and find it, you'll probably see people other than me that have posted from it, because I'm sure someone will take the time to do so. Either way, I'm going to hit copy here, and this would be a good time to put this information into a password manager if you're using one, or at least save it somewhere safe where it's not going to be viewed by prying eyes. Nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hit let's go. Okay, so default, it will bump you to the main screen and it will be following just the Damus app. So just that single account. All right. So that's why you have something on your feed. It also follows yourself, meaning that if you post, you'll see your own posts. And just on the main screen here, you're already on a section called posts and replies. There's just posts here. The difference being that posts and replies, you'll see replies to various posts as well. Okay. So let's get a rundown of everything that is in front of us currently. So right now, if I go to the top left and hit here, you're going to see our display name and our @SteveRogers that we set up. You're going to see a few different options here. You're going to see profile. So if I go to profile, this is kind of what people see of me right now. I've got a generic background, a little robot person as me. I've got my NPub. That's important because I can always tap here to copy it and I can share it with anybody. They'll be able to follow me. There's my little description there. It says I'm following two people, which is Damus and myself. And then these are the relays that I'm connected to. So I can show this. These are various relays. We'll get into relays later. You don't need to worry about it right now. You may not need to worry about it ever. It'll just kind of automate itself. And then followers here, I've got one follower, which is myself currently. All right. In the top right here, 3 dots, that just allows me to share my profile information to anybody. Here are my DMs, which are empty currently. Obviously, I just set them up. And then the edit button will allow me to edit all of my profile information and set it up as I see fit. We'll do that momentarily because there's a few things involved there that will take a little bit of thinking. Okay. Also, in the top left, we see blocked. You can indeed block people. Basically, it just prevents you seeing stuff in your feed that you don't feel like seeing. So it just you don't have to interact with somebody that you don't want to. Okay. Relays, again, it takes you to your relay page. It shows connected, disconnected, or attempting to connect. All those different things are set up right here. And basically this is where you can add or remove relays. And again, this is where data is stored. So every time I send a note on Noster, it will go to the following relays and be stored there. If I want to add a relay, there's a plus button, and I can paste in the information there and hit add down at the bottom right. We'll dive into that later. If I want to remove a relay, let's say one is down all the time and it's not useful to me, or I just want less here, you can swipe to the side and there's a little delete button that will get rid of it. I'm going to leave this one for now. And then finally, settings over here on the top left. And this gives you, again, your NPub, your public ID, so you can copy and share it. This is your secret account login key, or your private key. Again, you can copy it and paste it into whatever you need to. Once again, I'll advise caution. This key, if anybody gets it, if you accidentally post it somewhere, well, say so long to your account, you're going to be starting from scratch again, because other people will get into it. The toggle switch allows you to show it on the screen there. Wallet selector. This is where you're dealing with Bitcoin wallets and sending Lightning transactions within Noster. Okay, we will set that up in a minute. I'm not going to deal with it yet. I just wanted this overview. Again, you can get translations and everything in here. You can switch it to left-handed. You can clear your cache of stuff that's stored locally, and you can delete your account. And that is pretty much that from that menu. Also from the main screen at the very bottom, you've got your tabs here. Right now I'm on the home screen. I can also, again, navigate to my DMs or requests. DMs, my understanding within Damus is regular DMs are people that you follow already. Requests are people that you're not yet following that would like to send you a message. If I hit search, this is global. This means everybody on Nostr that is posting everywhere will just pop up in this feed as long as they're connected to one of those relays that I'm connected to. You can also search for people here in the search bar. You can post in somebody's NPub or their public key and be able to find them there. And finally, to the right, bottom right, these are your notifications. They will all be right here. Anytime you get mentioned or a reply or somebody likes your post, it'll all show up right here. And with that, we can go back to the home screen and let's set up our profile. So to set up our profile and put everything we want in, we're going to go to the top left, we're going to tap on profile, and we're going to hit edit in the top right. Now, the first thing I want to do is I'd like a profile picture and a banner image. So the way that this works is you need to provide a link of images that are on the internet that Damus, or I guess the Nostr network, will then import and place as they see fit in the little image here and the banner above. Now, luckily, there's plenty of images of Steve Rogers on the internet, but I digress. You can look up basically image hosting on Google, and you'll see lots of options. Like ImageBB is an option where you can just upload a picture, whatever picture you want, and then it'll give you a link of where that picture is. You just paste it in. But as an example here, so let's navigate to this one. So I'm just going to tap here up above, and I'm basically just going to copy, select all, and I'm going to copy the URL for this particular image, and I'll paste it into Damus right here. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with my header image here. So here's another one. I'm going to copy this one, select all and copy, and I'll jump back to Damus and I will paste that in as well. Okay, so now I've got my two images selected. When we save, it should update. Sometimes you'll find an image, the URL doesn't work as expected. You can just try another site, upload, and then copy the new URL there. You can add a website. If you have a website, you can add that here. I'm going to leave that for now. Now, Bitcoin Lightning tips. we're going to be going through this, and NIP05 verification, we're going to be going through this in a moment. For now, we'll just save our images. We're going to hit save. And there we go. So we have a little cap image and we have a shield up top. So we're off to a good start. Now, I would like to be able to interact with people and send back and forth Bitcoin tips. So let's talk about getting that set up next. So as I said before, I downloaded Wallet of Satoshi here on my iPad, and this is a simple option for you to be able to do the same and be able to interact on Noster with the Bitcoin Lightning Network. So when I open it up the first time, and this is actually designed for mobile, but hey, you just get a couple kind of sidebars, on my iPad for now. Nonetheless, it says the world's simplest Bitcoin Lightning wallet. Happy Bitcoining. You can read the disclosure, or you can just hit start. So I'm just going to hit start. It works right out the gate. Okay, so this will work without really any setup. However, there's a little red dot in the top right. I do recommend you do this. It says log in to backup. And this will give you paste in an email address, whatever email address you like, you hit log in, it's going to send you some credentials. It'll basically be a backup of your account so that if you ever delete the app, smash your iPad or iPhone or whatever it is, you can get back to your funds. I would also say this is a custodial wallet, meaning that they have control of your funds. Don't store a lot on it. Just whatever small amount you're okay using for tipping and everything like that, that's what you're going to use, okay? If it ever gets to be a large amount, you might want to consider taking it off into something more custodial. And if you're or non-custodial, meaning that you hold your own funds and it's not in the hands of a company. If you're interested in that type of stuff, then I have a ton of videos on how to do it. And you can also comment down below, and I'm sure people will I'll be able to point you in the right direction. Nonetheless, put an email in here so at least you have recourse if you delete the app. For right now, I'm going to hit cancel. It'll still work just fine. And here we go. Now, all you need, the only information you need to put in to start receiving tips on Noster is your Lightning address, which is auto-generated here. So you're just going to hit receive. This is what's known as a Lightning invoice. You can add an amount anybody can scan and send to. This is a regular Bitcoin address, so you can send a regular Bitcoin transaction to it. By the way, Lightning is just a faster and cheaper way of sending Bitcoin. And finally, you have a Lightning address, which looks a lot like a regular email address. And so with this information, anybody can send you Bitcoin or Lightning, Bitcoin via Lightning. We're just going to hit the copy button. We're going to jump back over to Damus. We'll edit our profile again. And we're going to paste in under Bitcoin Lightning tips. We're going to paste in that address, that Lightning address, and we're going to hit save. Okay. And if you'll notice, now we have a new button in the top right, a little zap button. And anybody can come to our profile and tap that zap button and be able to send us Bitcoin directly to our wallet. So I just want to show a little demo here. Let's say I was somebody else. I was just looking at this. I was looking at this profile and I was like, geez, this person has a lot of great content. Plus, I love Captain America. I want to send them some money. I would hit tap there. And then I can open up any Bitcoin wallet that I might have on my device. It gives a ton of different options. These are all Bitcoin Lightning wallets. Or I could copy this address or this Lightning invoice and I could paste it in or send it wherever. Anybody could send to this address. We'll get more into that as we go, but it just kind of shows the versatility. All of these are different Lightning wallet options that you can use. Now, just in the interest of giving a good demo here, I'm going to go and I'm going to fund my wallet of Satoshi. Okay. So I'm going to open it up. Here's my main screen. I'm going to hit receive. Now, some of you watching this video may not be super familiar with Bitcoin itself and how to send and receive transactions. So here's your crash course. Lightning, as I said, is just faster and cheaper way of sending Bitcoin. On-chain Bitcoin transactions, this is kind of like the main layer of the network. It takes about 10 minutes for a transaction on average to officially be confirmed and settled. And oftentimes the fee can be a little bit higher. It might cost you a couple of bucks in some instances to send Bitcoin. Other times it might be a few cents. It depends on how busy the network is, something that does not affect Lightning. Nonetheless, I'm going to fund my wallet here. If you are on an exchange and you purchase Bitcoin, you can withdraw and send directly to this regular Bitcoin address, assuming your exchange does not yet support Lightning. You can simply copy this address, and then when you go to withdraw, you just paste in that address and say, hey, this is where I want to send my Bitcoin. Again, I wouldn't send too much. 50 bucks, 100 bucks might be okay for you, but gauge your risk depending on how you feel. Nonetheless, I'm actually going to fund this with Lightning. I'm going to add a custom amount in this instance, and I'm going to add, I'm going to add about 5,000 sats. Okay, that's close to about $1. All right, so not too much money, right? Pretty small transaction. I'm just going to hit done. And this is going to generate a QR code that basically will tell any person scanning it, hey, this person wants you to send them about $1 worth of Bitcoin or exactly 5,000 sats. Also, those unfamiliar, Bitcoin is divisible. So one Bitcoin has 100 million sats in it. All right, so I'm going to scan this with another wallet on my phone and send Bitcoin over just so you can see how quickly it happens. Okay, so I've got, this is called Moon Wallet on my phone, another easy to use Bitcoin Lightning wallet. I'm just going to hit send. I'm going to hit the top right, there's a little scan button. I'll be able to scan this invoice, and it's going to present me with, hey, this person would like 5,000 sats. I can see there's actually 0 fee on this, and then I can just hit send. So that should go off relatively quickly, and there's the payment received into my wallet, which is actually can now be used on Noster. So nice, quick, cheap transactions with Lightning Network, and this is how you're primarily going to be interacting with Bitcoin when you're using Noster. Okay, so the final part of my profile that I want to set up, and not everybody has to do this, but I think it's kind of a cool thing to have, and I like having it, is a NIP05 identifier. And what this is normally right now when you want somebody to follow you, you've got to copy this string, this npub, and this long string of digits. And, it's kind of hard to just easily tell somebody where to find you. Well, you can set up something called a NIP05 identifier that looks a lot like an email address, so anybody can search you up. And so when I hit edit on my profile, there's a field down at the bottom where it says NIP05 verification. And so I can go ahead and I can actually get one of those through a variety of providers. Now, you can host this yourself if you're good at networking and you have your own website, and you can host basically your own file on that. I'm not going to dive into that here. I'm just going to show you an easy solution that will cost you a couple bucks to get an easy to find identifier. So this is a website called nosterplebs.com, and you can pay with Bitcoin, a couple of bucks basically, to get yourself a simple to read, searchable, effectively email address looking thing so people can look you up. And so basically you're going to hit services, you're going to register, and then you're going to pick a name to register. So I'm going to choose, and it's early days, so this might actually exist. Steve Rogers, is that a thing? Yeah, nobody has Steve Rogers. All right. Yeah, it's still pretty early days, I suppose. So Steve Rogers at nosterplebs.com. And it does give you drop down and options. Maybe you want something different. And some of these have different features and everything. I'm just going to go for basic. That's fine. And then I need to enter my public key. So that long string of digits from Nostr, I need that. So I'm going to go here and I'm just going to tap and copy, and then I will jump back and I'm going to paste that in. There we go. Now we're going to hit next, and it does give me a price in advance. It's around 12,500 sats. So I paste that and it says, hey, please pay this invoice to register Steve Rogers at nosterplebs.com. And that's where people will be able to find me. So what I'm going to do is, if I had a separate wallet, I could scan and pay this. But if I'm on the same device and I want to fund it from a Lightning wallet on my device, by the way, off screen, I funded that wallet of Satoshi with a little bit extra so that I could pay for this. All I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit copy, and I'm going to navigate over to wallet of Satoshi, and then I'm going to hit send. And I'm actually going to paste in what I copied. And it reads everything. So yeah, 12,500 sats. That's around $3. And it says I'm buying a NIP 05, and it gives me even the information. Steve Rogers at nosterplebs.com. Do you want to pay this? Sure. I'm going to hit pay. And the payment was sent. And I can jump back to the website here. And there we go. You have successfully registered Steve Rogers at nosterplebs.com. To activate it, go to your client settings on profile and set your NIP 05 identifier to the one shown above, this one here. You can follow this guide to set it up. And one last thing, store your password right here securely. You will need it to manage your identifier at nosterplebs.com/manage. So I can use this password. Again, I'm going to be abandoning this account later on. So maybe somebody's going to come in here and use this however they see fit, but you know, the importance of passwords, hey? Okay, so I'm just going to copy this then. So I'll copy that information. I'll jump back to Nostr. I'm going to edit my profile, and I'm just going to go down and I'm going to paste in Steve Rogers, and we'll hit save. And look at this on my profile now, at Steve Rogers, nosterplebs.com. So I now have an easy identifier. Anybody can search me up by searching Steve Rogers at nosterplebs.com, or with my NPub if they have only that information. So our profile is now officially all set up. We have images, we have our NPub, we have a linked Lightning wallet, we have an NPub, we have a NIP 05 identifier. Everything's good to go. Now we can actually start following and interacting with people on Nostr. So first thing, I'm going to go and I'm going to follow some people, because right now I'm just following Damus. All right, so I'm going to do this from the perspective of, hey, I know somebody's NPub. All right, somebody sent me their string of digits and I can just paste it in. So I'll do that. I'm just going to, over here on Twitter, I do have my Nostr NPub ready. And so I'm just going to actually copy it, and then I'll jump back to Damus, and we're going to go to the search button down at the bottom right, and we will paste in that NPub. I'll get rid of the hashtag at the beginning, and we're going to hit go to profile. Okay, so here's my actual Nostr profile. So you can see I do have an NPub there. I do also have a NIP 05 identifier. I've got all this stuff up and ready to go. So I'm going to hit follow. In fact, while I'm at it, why don't I search up a couple other people and see who pops up. So even when you start typing, you're going to start to see people pop up in your feed that are maybe ones that are connected to the same relays as you. There's somebody that I actually do want to follow. I'm going to follow Brennan Quittem. Igor is a good follow as well, and maybe I'll just do, Zero Hedge. But you can post in somebody's NIP 05 identifier here, and then you'll be able to follow them. So I got a few follows now, And now we can see what my feed looks like now that I'm following a handful of people. So you can see now that my main feed posts and replies looks a lot different because it's now populated with some of the individuals I'd followed. So I followed a handful more off screen, and now my feed has begun to populate with images and other things that people have shared that are all, again, natively in the feed. So I can now interact with these people. I can go to their profiles. So here's one here. Here's Sean. Again, all of his information is there. I can, follow or unfollow. I can send messages. All of that stuff is available here. So let's actually go and we'll search up my profile that we were dealing with before. And we're actually going to, first we'll send a DM. We'll say, hey, and we'll send that over. The other thing that we can do is we can also send a lightning transaction. We can basically tip any profile here from in Damus. Now soon what you'll see is you'll be able to do that to individual posts. I think that's actually rolling out shortly after I make this video. So you'll likely see a little lightning symbol down here underneath individual posts in your regular feed. But for now, this is the same flow. You go to somebody's profile, you hit that lightning icon, you're going to choose your wallet. We're currently using Wallet of Satoshi. And then it's going to auto-generate. You can then also adjust the amount here. So maybe it's going to be 10 sats or 100 sats that we send. So I'm going to send that. That's like 2 cents. So I'll do that. I'll hit OK. And that automatically sends off to that individual. Okay. Close that. Jump back. And we can hit done. So that transaction actually went to me and the Lightning wallet that is linked up to BTC Sessions, this profile. And actually we can take a look at that on my phone. So this is another client called Amethyst, and it is on my Android phone. And again, there's my feed and everything, but I can go to my DMs. I can go to new requests, and there's the message coming through from Cap, aka Steve Rogers, and I can tap on the profile. I can see everything there. Obviously, Steve Rogers hasn't posted anything yet, but he has sent me a message, and I can follow and do all that stuff here. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you was this is the wallet that I have linked up to my actual Noster profile, and here we can see an incoming transaction of 100 sats. That is the one that was sent over from Steve Rogers' profile. It landed directly into my own Lightning wallet here. Now I can actually go and I can tip Steve Rogers. I can do all kinds of stuff here from the profile and everything, but in particular, if he makes a post, so let's take a look at Steve Rogers' profile. And we'll do just hello world, and we'll post it. Okay, so that goes out to the network. That goes out to all of the relays that Steve Rogers is connected to, and that should then show up, and it already has shown up. And so here on the profile, you can see here's the post that just went out. It auto-populated for me. You can respond to it and all that, but you can also zap or send a lightning transaction. That's the difference when it goes from client to client, depending on what you're dealing with. If I go back to the feed, I can see it on anybody who has it connected. I can zap them. So I can go ahead, I can hit tap, and that will automatically zap them, and it'll give me the options of what wallet I want to use. So I'll open this one. It defaults to 50 sats. You can change that within this particular client. It will depend on the client you're using, but I'll hit pay, and that will go through as a transaction to Steve Rogers. All right. So again, we'll just jump back here, take a look at we'll take a look at Steve's wallet. So Wallet of Satoshi. Oh, and we've gotten a couple actually, so we can see all our transactions here. Somebody brand new sent me a 21 sats when I said hello world, And then this one was from myself, the 50 sats sent over from BTC sessions. So you can see that you'll be able to see transactions coming into your wallet from anybody that happens to tip you on Damus or on Noster from really anywhere. Now, the general interaction with the feed is pretty simple. You see a post, you can like it with that little symbol there. You can repost it. So let's see, I don't know, we'll just repost this one, and that will go in my feed, and anybody connected to me will see it. You can also respond to individual posts, and I'll just say give here, and I'll post. So you can respond to anything. You can tap on it and see all of the responses in the individual feed. And same thing, you can pretty much interact with anybody anywhere on your feed. If you do want to post something like a video, so I'll go grab a link that we can post here. So maybe like a YouTube link. Okay, so for this example, what I did is I searched up a video. So this is my other Nostr video that I put out with different clients and different setups. I hit the top right, I hit share, and I copy the link that's associated with it. I went to Damus, and what I did is I ended up posting just, I wrote a little something and then I posted it in the short link here, and it just posts as a link that anybody can click on and go to on YouTube. Now that's going to look different depending on the client which you're using. So if I navigate over to my Amethyst, you can see that it showed up as the actual image and everything down below it. And it may be because I'm on the iPad and that version is slightly different, but it's really going to depend based on the client that you are using, how everything is visualized for you. And this just happens to be the instance of what it looks like on Amethyst, and it's going to look different on pretty much everything depending on how the client itself works. I should also note that if you want to post an image, a GIF, or whatever it may be, then depending on the client that you're using, you may be able to upload natively. So like in this one, I can hit plus, and there's the option to upload an image, and that will auto upload it to an image hoster and then post the link here within my feed. And then in other instances, you can just copy the link to the image, post that into a note, and then it will show the image directly in the feed. And just while I was in the other app, I got my first notification here. Somebody said, spread the love by zapping. And this is a bot that just shows a list of successful zaps or lightning transactions that were sent. And this lists me as a recipient of one of those, my 21 sats, and this individual sent it over. So thank you, love. I'm going to give you a follow. So that's more or less the breakdown of the main feed here. There's obviously more to it than that. You can post all kinds of different things, and it's going to continue to evolve. But we're going to move on from there and take a look at a few more things to consider. Now, you've seen what it looks like utilizing another client, but how do you actually get onto another client? Perhaps you're using Damus, you want to try some others just in case. Well, this is another example. This is iris.to. This can actually be saved as a progressive web app to your home screen of your phone, but I'm just doing it directly from the browser. So you can set up keys from Iris, or you can access it with existing private keys. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to jump to Damus. I'm going to go to my profile here. And actually, I'm going to go to my settings, and then I have my secret account login key. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to jump back to Iris, and then it says private key access. I'm going to tap there, and I'm going to paste in that key. And so with that, it will auto-populate everything. So all of my previous posts, all of my connections, literally everything that I had in Damus is now here in Iris, just simply by using my keys, because I am now connecting to all of the different relays that I previously was connected to, that stays consistent across your different interfaces as well. And so I can go to my profile here. I can see there I am. There's my header, all of that stuff, my previous posts, my interactions, all of that is here. I can also go and take a look. Here's the people that I'm following that I previously followed. I can look at my sad 2 followers. There they are. But they're all there. And I can even go to my relays. Here we go. And there's my main feed. So everything is accessible as it was in Damus over here on Iris. And there's a ton of different potential clients that you can use, and you're free to move between them as you see fit. So let's finally talk about relays. Let's talk about editing your relay list. And so we can do that here by going up to the top right and clicking on relays. We get our list of relays that are connected. Now, let's say we wanted to get rid of one of these. Maybe this one isn't doing it for me, or it's not connecting as much. Swipe to the side, hit delete. All done. Okay. Now, this is a recommended relay here in Damus, so I can add it back, no problem. But let's say I wanted to add a different relay. I heard one is really good. It has a lot of uptime. It's nice and quick. Well, I can go and add that with the plus button. So this is a website called Nostr.watch. Now, on this website, it tracks a ton of different relays that are online. Right now, I can see there's, 245 some odd relays that I could possibly connect to. So I can kind of scroll down. I can see which ones are public or paid. There are such things as paid relays. And so I can kind of explore, and maybe I say I want to connect to this one in particular. So I'm going to tap on it. And then I'm going to basically copy this information right here. So I copy that, jump back to Damus. I'm going to hit the plus sign in the top right. I'm going to paste in what I just copied, and I'm going to hit add. And so this adds that relay to my list of relays, and it now connects. And now every time I send out a note on Noster, it will be sent to that relay and backed up there as well. So that allows me to, again, be more decentralized, to proliferate my posts to more places so that it's very unlikely that all of these relays are going to boot me off. So there's going to be some redundancy of what I'm posting. Now, there is another option, and that is that I could host my own relay. So let's look at how to do that and then how to connect my own private relay to my client here. So this is the main screen of my Start9 Embassy, which is kind of a sovereign computing solution. It allows you to host all of your own data. So I've got, Bitcoin Core and a whole bunch of other Bitcoin things that I deal with here, Lightning channels, all that kind of stuff. But it also allows you to host data like passwords and files and all that. And it allows you to host a Noster relay. And so this is something that I have installed on my Start9 Embassy. And if I click on that application itself, and then I click on properties, which I'm not going to do publicly right now, basically there is a string of digits that is a Tor link. Okay, so it's a link to my Noster relay on my Start9 Embassy. And what this does is when I paste it into Damus, and we'll do that momentarily, it will effectively back up all of my data from my interactions with Noster onto my own relay. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, it ensures that you do not get yourself purged from the network. So let's imagine an environment where the powers that be deem that what you're saying is not allowed on the internet, and they pressure a number of people to boot you from their relays. Well, I mean, because Noster is a decentralized network and anyone can run a relay, it seems unlikely that all of your relays will boot you. But in an instance where they do, you now have all of your stuff backed up on your own relay. You can offer up your relay if you see fit for other people to connect to so that they are also censorship resistant. Or you can just simply back up your own stuff and then look for censorship resistant relays that people are not going to censor on and connect to those. So I've already copied and sent over the information to my iPad, so we'll do that in a moment. Now, this does run over Tor, which is an encrypted network. So you're going to need to use that Orbot tool that I showed to download. I'll show how to set it up in a sec. It's pretty quick. But I'm going to show one other example here as well. This is Umbrel, and this is another, again, kind of full node sovereign computing option here. And it also has a Nostr relay. And when you click on it, it'll open up in a new in a new window. And this gives you some options as well. Now, this one works best, I found, when you install something called Tailscale. And you've got to install Tailscale both on your device, so on your iPad, but also on the Umbrel here, which there's a little bit of setup involved. I've done that video on a previous Umbrel video if you're curious about it. But nonetheless, it just allows a connection between your client and your node here in your Nostr relay. Okay, so basically I'm going to copy this information here, and when I get Tailscale up and running, this is what we'll paste in to Damus on our iPad. So let's jump over to our iPad and see what that connection looks like. Okay, so first up, let's do the one from the Start9 Embassy that I was using. All we're going to need to do is you download Orbot. I've got it here. I'm just going to hit it, and I'm going to hit Start. It will connect to the Tor network, and once this goes up to 100%, I'm connected. I can leave it running in the background. There we go. So we're all set. And then I'm going to get that link, and we're going to post it in. So I'm going to go to my relays here. We're going to hit the plus button, and we're just going to paste in the information that we copied from the properties section of our Start9 Embassy on our relay. So I'm going to do that off screen, and we'll come back once it's connected. Okay, so I hit add, and I'm covering it up just so I'm not making this a public relay where everybody's dumping their data for the time being. I'm just backing up my own. But I can see it has been added here. It's active, and I'm good to go. So basically every post that I post from now on will go to my own relay on my Start9 Embassy and be backed up there. I'm going to now swipe and delete this one, and we'll try running the Umbrel one instead. It's also worth noting here in my Start9 Embassy, by the way, that you can actually configure this to be a private relay. And I guess because of that, it wasn't that important for me to cover that link. But nonetheless, if you go to config, you can answer what type of relay is this? Is it going to be public or private? So I have mine set to private. I've added my other BTC sessions public key here as a whitelisted public key, meaning it will only back up the data from that particular public key. If I want to add another, I just hit add, and then I paste in all that information there. So I'm not going to save that. I'm going to leave that as is. And then we'll jump over to our Damus again and add the one for Umbrel. Now I've added another app to the screen here, Tailscale, and this one is necessary to use the information that we got from our Umbrel. But basically, once it's set up, and I'm not going to go deep into how this thing actually works, but you can set it up with a variety of different types of hardware, including iPads, computers, and stuff like the Umbrel and other node solutions like Raspberry Blitz. All I need to do is just basically turn this on and have the correct devices with it installed. And then that's pretty much it. So that's all set. And then I'm going to copy and paste in the information we grabbed from Umbrel into Damus. So once again in Damus on the relay screen, I'm going to hit the plus. I'm going to paste in what we copied there, and we're going to hit add. Now, I'm not going to keep this on here because I've linked it to another account that I previously used. So I'm going to get rid of this now, but I'll show you on the computer what it does look like once you've actually linked up an account. So you can see when I previously connected another account, it actually logs and keeps the actions on here. So it shows that, oh, I followed somebody, I reposted something, I added a reaction, I posted something. So it will keep all of those actions here and archived on your own Nostr relay, and you'll actually see it live. So as you post, it'll update this list of latest actions right here in front of your eyes. So just some final thoughts here. Overall, Nostr is a nice departure from the social media that we've become accustomed to. And why I say that is it's very easy for those platforms that we all use to be subverted, and for content that you care about to be removed with very little recourse. And so this offers up a solution to that, a censorship resistant solution. The other thing that I like about this is its easy integration with payments via the Bitcoin Lightning Network, but also the rate of innovation that's happening just from client to client. Because this is just a flat, easily accessible protocol to all, and the clients are built on top of it, and you can easily jump from client to client, it encourages innovation so that people stick with a particular one. And so I think we're going to see a lot of great things come out of this very, very quickly. The experience that I've had with Nostr in a short period of time has changed quite a bit, and a lot of features have been added in a short period of time. So I think we continue to see that, and I think we continue to see lots of new things that we didn't expect out of this network. Now, the other thing I wanted to point at in and around the payments part is that, contrary to what was previously thought by a lot of individuals in and around the what I would consider to be quasi buzzwords of Web3, there was no additional token necessary to make this work. AKA, somebody didn't need to create a bunch of money and then sell it to the public in order for this to work. It used existing digital cash that already exists and is also beyond the control of everyone, Bitcoin, to establish easy peer-to-peer payments. And I think that's a huge bonus. It's almost like a turnoff for me when I see something new come out and they say, oh, and then we added in a token. Why? Because you wanted to make extra money, or because you actually wanted to innovate? It's usually the former. So I'm happy to see this kind of decentralized network proliferate and use another decentralized network to its benefit. Now, what remains to be seen is how does this scale, right? Because running a relay can be tricky, right? It's you got to keep up with it. You got to make sure it can handle the traffic going to it. And it's early days. It is growing quite a bit. So there's a ton of users that are onboarding. Again, in the period of time since I've been using it, a lot of people have come to Nostr and started playing. But that data has to be hosted somewhere. So we've seen the proliferation of a new class of relays, which are paid. And you don't pay very much, maybe a few bucks or something like that. If that, maybe a couple thousand sats to connect to some of these relays. And why would you do that? Well, maybe there's some better guarantees of the uptime of these particular relays and the speed at which they can relay information to you. So that might be a reason why you pay for a good relay. I think we see some of the incentives kick into play as the network becomes so large and the number of users becomes so large that it's not just easy to run a relay. And I think that's where we start to see, again, those monetary incentives play into it, where yes, you might be paying to run a relay, or maybe that incentivizes you to actually host a relay that's capable of handling that kind of traffic. Now, the nice thing about Noster is it's text-based, right? All of the videos and the images and stuff like that are typically hosted elsewhere and then linked to within Noster so that you can see them on a nice kind of concise feed there. But who knows how things change and progress in the future. The main point I'm getting to here is we shall see down the line how Nostr does under pressure. And I'm hopeful that it continues to grow and that solutions continue to be found. Either way, it's a big step in the right direction in comparison to centralized companies that get to dictate what you say. So what do you think of Damus and Noster and your experiences so far, other clients you may have interacted with, and where do you think this is all going? What do you think the end game is? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. And of course, be sure to follow me on Nostr. You can find me BTC sessions at nostr.theorangepillapp.com. And I look forward to seeing you on Nostr. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please do like, subscribe, and share. All those things help a ton in getting this content in front of more eyeballs. If you want to help the show in another way, you can hit up the previously mentioned sponsors down below: CoinKite, Nunchuk, Start9, HodlHodl, and you can check out the Miami Bitcoin Conference as well. And if you really liked what you saw, you can always do a couple different things. My website, btcsessions.ca, you can book private one-on-one sessions if you need a little bit of hand-holding through anything Bitcoin and securing your stack. Or you can drop me a Bitcoin lightning tip at my Strike page, or on Nostr if you prefer. But my Strike page you can find at strike.me/BTC sessions. You don't need Strike to use it. You just go there, you type in any amount you want, hit the tip button, and you will see a lightning invoice. Or if you prefer, tap the arrow to the right, you'll see a regular Bitcoin QR code. With that, I am out. Have yourselves a wonderful day or evening, wherever you may be. See you guys next time for your daily session.
HodlHodl the Bitcoin.